What if I told you the most important play of the week didn't happen on the field? What if the snap count that really matters is the number of times one sentence in a press room changed the temperature of an entire building? And what if, right now, Detroit's two most important leaders are being tested not by a blitz, but by a question? Who owns the offense when the margins get tight? Jared Goff at the line or Dan Campbell at the podium? If you're a Lions fan who felt your stomach drop in the final series, then felt your pulse spike watching that presser, don't move, because the story behind those 10 minutes tells us exactly where this team is heading. Here's my promise to you. In the next few minutes, we'll unpack what actually happened in that exchange, what the tape and charting say about motion and creativity, how that intersects with the new coordinator's fingerprints, what it means for Jared Goff's autonomy and Dan Campbell's standard, and why the locker room reaction matters more than any tweet storm. I'll lay out the facts we know, the edges that are still speculation, and then I'll give you my opinion, plain and simple, on whether this is a crack or a stress test the Lions needed. Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report, your home for real talk, no fluff. If you love this team the way we do, hit subscribe, drop a like, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next breakdown. Tell me in the comments right now, is this more about scheme or about standard? Let's set the stage. After a frustrating opener, a beat reporter asked Dan Campbell a fair, pointed question. With last year's offense humming under the old play caller, why did it look so different? Less explosive, less creative, fewer motions out of the gate? Campbell bristled. He pressed for clarity. What did Jared say? And when the question circled back to pre-snap motion, he pushed back again. After one game, tell me what's drastically different. Go back and look at our motions, pre-snap motions, fast motions, shifts. The body language changed. Papers down, hands on the podium, everything a little tighter. On the outside, it looked like a coach defending his room. On the inside, it felt like a line being drawn about who speaks for the offense and how. Now the news, and let's be precise. The flashpoint is motion and identity. Independent charting from last season's road splits had Detroit using motion on roughly 2/3 of dropbacks. In Week 1, that rate cratered to about 1/4. Pre-snap motion in particular dipped sharply, and there were essentially no shifts. Jared Goff, asked separately, mentioned changes in communication. Put that together, and you can see why a reporter made the connection. If the volume of motion was central to last year's sequencing, window dressing that clarifies coverage and creates leverage, why did it drop so far, so fast? And was that a design choice, a communication issue with a new voice calling plays, or simply a one-week blip based on opponent and situation? What's fact and what's speculation? Fact, the exchange happened, the tone got chippy, and the motion usage dipped dramatically in the opener compared to last year's baseline. Fact, Goff referenced communication changes, which in NFL speak usually means verbiage, tempo in the huddle, or how tags and alerts are packaged pre-snap. Fact, Campbell owned the standard publicly and defended the offensive staff. Speculation, that this signals a philosophical rift between quarterback and head coach. Speculation, that the new coordinator is dialing back motion long-term. Speculation, that Goff's autonomy was limited at the line. Those are theories, not truths, yet. And the film we'll see across September will answer more than any podium can. Here's why this matters beyond the headlines. Motion isn't a magic trick. It's a diagnostic tool. When you move a piece before the snap, you're asking the defense to tip man or zone. You're forcing communication across the second level. You're changing landmark timing for the pass rush. And you're creating better angles in the run game. Last year, Detroit weaponized that. Jet fast motion to widen the flat defender, shift to stack into a free release, short return motion to create natural rubs on third and medium. When that toolbox shrinks, the quarterback's pre-snap clarity shrinks with it. For a rhythm thrower like Goff, who is elite when structure and timing are clean, clarity is currency. So why would the usage drop? 3 football reasons that don't require a conspiracy. 1. Opponent plan. Some defenses are motion agnostic and punish horizontal movement with pressure. Coaches will trim window dressing to keep protection rules simple. 2. Staff turnover. Even if the core system stays, the rhythm of when and how you call the same concepts can change with a new voice. That shows up in sequencing, when the constraint comes, when the shot is loaded, how you pair run looks with keeper game. 3. Communication. New verbiage, new signal flow, new sideline mechanics. If you felt the operation was a tick slow in the opener, you'll simplify motion until the tempo is back. Where do Goff and Campbell intersect in that picture? Campbell's job is culture and clarity. Raise the standard, absorb the heat, keep the room unified. Goff's job is operational excellence. Own the huddle, set protections, win with eyes and feet. The tension you saw at the podium is the normal friction of elite football, a coach refusing to let the narrative right itself after one bad night, and a quarterback acknowledging that some dials are being adjusted. That is not by itself a fracture. It's a checkpoint. Let's talk mechanics, because this is where fans feel it on Sundays. When motion is down, other knobs need to turn up. Quick game has to be more decisive, slant flat, stick, spacing, with a built-in curl read. RPO tags become more valuable to steal inexpensive yards against light boxes. If your motion isn't forcing leverage, your formations have to bunch, stack, to manufacture free access. Condense splits to compress the defense and create outside releases. Empty to declare coverage and hunt matchups. And if your protection didn't love the opener, you help it. More chip help on the edge. More six-man protections with the back scanning. More play action on early downs to slow rushers who are teeing off. Now let's zoom back to the human layer, because it's not just X's and O's. Campbell's reaction, after one game, is the mindset that took this franchise from plucky to expected to win. He's right about sample size, but the reporter's premise wasn't crazy, and the fan base is not wrong to ask where the creativity went. That's the new standard, and the head coach actually said as much elsewhere. The expectations have risen, and that's a good thing. That's how you turn one tough week into a response game, not a spiral. So where does that leave us heading into the next stretch? Keep your eyes on 3 tells. First 10 plays. Does motion return to the script? You'll know immediately if the openers bring jet shot return motion to calm Goff's picture and steal a cheap explosive on a keeper or glance. Third and medium. Do we get more condensed sets and rub elements to win on time instead of asking receivers to win isolated? Red zone. Do the Lions pair their heavy personnel with fast motion to out-gap and out-angle rather than just out-muscle? If the answers tilt yes, this was a one-week operational hiccup. If not, then the offensive identity really is undergoing a planned recalibration. One more layer the cameras don't catch. Leadership economics. Goff speaking candidly about communication changes is not throwing anyone under the bus. It's owning the reality that football is noisy in September. Campbell pushing back isn't insecurity. It's protecting the process while the outside wants instant verdicts. Great programs hold both truths, transparency inside, unified front outside. The locker room reads that. If the message this week matched the tape, clean up operation, accelerate tempo, pick our spots to use motion and shifts, then a chippy soundbite becomes a footnote, my opinion. This isn't a crack. It's a stress test, and a useful one. The data dip on motion is real. The offense felt disjointed, and the head coach got prickly. Good. That means people care, and that the standard is now ruthless in Detroit. I expect motion rates to climb back toward last year's comfort zone, not because the internet demanded it, but because it aligns with who Goff is at his best and what this roster does well. I also expect Campbell to keep doing what he did quietly in that game. Choose points when the chart screams, go. Manage the emotional temperature when a stadium wants chaos, and back his staff publicly while demanding fixes privately. If we see early tempo, quick game rhythm, 1 or 2 designer motions in the script, and a couple of heavy play action shots to punish safeties, the conversation flips in 7 days. If we don't, then it's fair to ask harder questions about philosophical direction. Until then, file this under Week 1 Truth Serum, bitter but necessary. Drop your take below, scheme tweak, or identity shift. And what do you want to see in the first 10 plays? Jet, return, or condensed rubs? Subscribe, like, and keep it here with us at Lions News Fan Report. We're here for the long haul because in Detroit, standards don't drop, they rise. Go Lions!